Hello, everyone. My name is Kristen Palacio, and I am the president of the Broward County Hispanic Bar Association.
Hello, everyone. My name is Nazarena Hauser. I am currently serving as chair of the Hispanic Lawyers Committee of the Broward County Bar Association, as well as president-elect of the Broward County Hispanic Bar Association.
Today, we have the honor of spending some time with Judge Rebollo, who has been elected as the Judge of the Year on behalf of Broward County for our statewide event called Florida Jurist. Judge Rebollo has been elected alongside 5 other judges in neighboring counties throughout the state of Florida. Judge Rebollo, thank you for being here today.
Thank you, Kristen. It's my pleasure.
We have a few questions for you, Judge, so that our viewers across the state can get to know you a little bit better. And we want to start off with the first question being, what is your family's national cultural background and what was your upbringing like?
So my parents are Cuban. They were born in Cuba. My grandparents, 3 out of 4 of them were from Spain. My mother's mother and father were from Spain. They migrated to Cuba back in, I want to say, the 1920s. And they lived there. My grandfather was a very proud Spaniard, and he never gave up his Spanish citizenship. And then I was born in Cuba, in Havana. My father's mother was from Spain also. Unfortunately, sadly, she passed when my dad was 6 years old. His father was Cuban. He was not from Spain. He was from Cuba. I would imagine, a couple of generations of Cubans. So it's basically Cuban and Spaniard. Having said that, I grew up in New Jersey because my parents, I have an older sister. She was 5 at the time. I was 3. It was 1962. Actually, it was May of 1962. My parents fled basically the revolution, Castro's revolution. After, I don't know, 3 or 4 years of the revolution, they'd seen enough and they were able to leave the country. And somehow we wound up in New Jersey. So I grew up in Newark, New Jersey. So
Okay.
I am proud of Spain. I was supposed to go to Spain with my wife, but COVID messed that up. I am very likewise proud of Cuba. I would love to go back one day. I love what's going on over there right now with the Patria y Vida and the SOS Cuba. And I hope something positive comes out of that. And you know, America is the country that adopted me, and it's been wonderful to me and to my family. So that's my background.
Thank you, Your Honor. On that, regarding your background and your upbringing, was there something in particular as part of your upbringing that you feel helped get you where you are today?
Yeah, the Hispanic culture, the work ethic. I mean, I saw it within my father and my uncles. And growing up in Newark was also beneficial because, and I'm sure we'll talk about this some more, but it was a diverse place, is a diverse place. And it's 20 minutes from New York City, which is also a very, very diverse place. But that and the fact that, you know, just watching my dad work 2 or 3 jobs at a time, and as probably my most important mentor, he encouraged me to go to school. He was, and I mean, I am the American dream. He was, you know, I'm working 2 or 3 jobs, but I want you to go to college. I want you to, you know, to be something, be a professional. And it worked. Here I am.
We're glad to have you, Judge.
Thank you.
Judge, we're going to transfer over to a little bit of a different topic, and it's the importance of cultural diversity and representation on the bench. Judge, do you believe it's important to have cultural diversity on the bench, and why?
Yes, I do. it's, I don't know, I want to say 24, 25%. I know it sounds like a lot, but I think it's pretty accurate. Of the population of Florida is Hispanic. And, you know, we don't take into account that Hispanic means a lot. It means all of Latin America. It means Spain and Portugal, Brazil, Cuba, Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, Braulio's home state. And you don't want to have a justice system that is composed of, and you know, the example I give is, let's say everybody is a white male. And I say that because when I was in law school, they had a room that had a picture of all the graduating classes from the 50s, 60s, and 70s. And it was in 80s, and I graduated in 84. And the pictures, the early pictures of the 50s and 60s were all white males. So you don't want a justice system in the society that we live in, the country that we live in, that's very diverse, being the justice system being where the face of it, the day-to-day face, the person on the bench is a white male, because after a while, you know, women, minorities, African Americans, Hispanic Americans, Asian Americans they're not going to feel comfortable. So diversity promotes, you know, the fact that we're all different, and yet we're all under the same system, and it's a system that works, and we could all make it work together. So I don't really see a downside to diversity. I remember they were very proud of the fact in my law school, and when I started in 1981, it was Drake University, which is in Des Moines, Iowa, not one of the most diverse places in the United States or in the world for that matter, where they were actually proud of the fact that this was the first incoming class where 51% of the class was actually women. And I thought, and they were proud of that. That was a great thing. And so I encourage diversity of all types and races, nationalities, ethnicity, sexual orientation. I think it's a positive. I don't see it as a negative. As a Hispanic, when I'm on the bench, if I get someone, and I know that they're Hispanic, I can tell sometimes the one that's not going to understand English because they'll look a lot like my mom and they're not saying anything. And I'll say something, and you know, obviously because of the rules of judicial conduct, I have to be careful what I say, but I'll say, "Buenos días, señora, ¿cómo está?" And that just breaks the ice. Now she feels so much more comfortable. Or whether it's, you know, the dad, or, you know, because I'm in the juvenile delinquency division, but or whether, you know, even if it's, I must say, if it's the juvenile, I think it's unfortunate, but everybody has their choice and makes their choices. But unfortunately, more and more I'm seeing kids really are not learning to speak Spanish, and I think that's my parents made sure that I spoke Spanish, and I think that's a positive. And not just Spanish, learning different languages, as many languages as you can, is a positive. It can only help you. But diversity is important. We don't want a system where that's run by a select group, whatever that group may be. You know, we want as diverse, we want it as representative of the community as it can be, so that everybody thinks they're getting a fair share.
Thank you, Judge. Judge, the second question, have we gotten better as a community at having diversity on the bench that is proportional to the minority groups that we have here in Broward County?
I think we have. I took the bench in 2007, and I believe at the time there was only like 4 or 5 Hispanic judges. And in 2008, that's when we had 3 judges, Catalina Avalos, who was a great judge, and Pedro de Jols, and Julio Gonzalez. And the allegation was that they were targeted because of their last name, the Hispanic sounding last name. And I'm happy to tell you that today that doesn't happen anymore. That doesn't happen. You cannot target someone because of a Hispanic last name. I mean, I'm proof of that. I had to run for office in 2010 and I won. Carlos Rodriguez had to run for office in 2010 and he won. So while not a good thing, especially losing very highly competent Judge Gonzalez was one of the highest rated county court judges we had. Well, not a good thing because the fact that it happened was good because it brought about the fact that an awareness of like, there's a problem and we need to address it. And there are some organizations out there that the judiciary can't be part of. I'll just throw a name out, for example, the Hispanic vote. And when I say we can't be part of it, it's because they're a PAC and we're not allowed to be involved in PACs or anything political or partisan in nature. But that was an awakening and it was an awareness of there's a problem here, we need to fix it. And Judge Gonzalez ran again and came extremely close to winning. And not only, it's probably a lot easier to win an election in August, but his election was a three-way election. So it had to go to November. And he probably, the votes that he pulled down in the election was very close to count. But the votes that he got let you know, number one, that again, that Hispanic running against someone with Hispanic surname, that's not going to do it. It's also the wrong reason to be a judge. Is it really that are you that desperate that you want to be a judge, that you want to target someone because of their surname? It's like, why don't you just pick a seat and whatever nationality, whatever race, religion, sexual orientation, pick a seat and run for it. But, obviously to target, there's got to be something questionable about someone who targets a judge because of their surname, their last name, whatever that may be, whether it's, listen, Judge Usan, and I honestly don't know his nationality, but apparently somebody thought that wasn't a great sounding name and he got targeted for that. Fortunately, he won because he's a good judge. He's doing a very good job. But I think today we are at a much better place, and I feel very confident, and not only in the election process, but also in the appointment process. As everyone knows, Florida has a dual system of how judges, how you become a judge, election and appointment. I think if you look through the history of appointments of the different governors, you'll see that they do pay attention and they are sensitive to Hispanic needs. And that's something that they're all sensitive to, and it's a good thing. And we need to get more politically involved in that. So it's not only the election process, but it's also the political process. When I say we, I don't mean me, the judiciary. We're not allowed to get into that, but you can, and Ms. Palacio can, and our Hispanic community can, and we're here to stay. We're not going anywhere, and hopefully our numbers are just going to get better. I honestly don't know how many judges we have that are of Hispanic culture, but I want to say it's probably somewhere close to 14.
I think that's about right. Yeah.
How many is it, Ms.
I believe it's 15.
15, yeah.
Including general magistrates.
Yes. That's a lot more than 4. I think it was 5 when I started. And, Judge Diaz, he started it all back in 1990, I believe. So imagine being the lone wolf back then. Mm-hmm. We've come a long way and we still got some way to go.
Absolutely. Thank you, Judge. We agree.
Judge, you mentioned that you took the bench in 2007. What motivated you to become a judge at that point, and what continues to motivate you to remain on the bench?
I really didn't want to be a judge. All my life, going back to my high school days, thanks to a brother, I went to an all-boys Catholic high school, and one of the brothers, they're called brothers, they're teachers, they're not priests. They are more like, they have a vow of celibacy, and they also have a vow of poverty. And what they do is they teach. They used to live on the floor upstairs from my high school. But his name was Brother Conway, and I took the class. It was called Government and the Law. And part of the class was to go to the courthouse, and I watched the murder trial. And then we were supposed to write a paper on it. And I mean, from then on, it hit me. It's like, this is what I want to do. I want to be, and it didn't matter whether it was a prosecutor or a defense attorney. And that got me started on the road to becoming a lawyer. And I wanted to be a lawyer, and I wanted to be a prosecutor or a defense attorney. As it turned out, I've done two years as a defense attorney, 21 years as a prosecutor. I was in the homicide division of the Broward State Attorney's Office. Very happy, very content with what I was doing. I think if you're a prosecutor, being a homicide prosecutor is the ultimate. And a friend of mine said, you know, you need to put in for judge. And we made a bet. He goes, if you get out of committee, I'll get you appointed by the governor. At the time, it was Charlie Crist back in 2007. And he hadn't appointed, there was 2 openings, and he had not appointed anybody out of Broward County yet because he had just won the election. And so I get out of committee, and I knew that would be the easy part because, I mean, I had vast experience. I had 23 years of practice, 21 as a prosecutor, 200 felony jury trials to verdict. So yeah, sure enough, I got out of committee, and he came through amazingly. I put in, there were people in Broward County that will tell you, oh, I put in judges that will say, I put in 10 times before I got it, or I put in 5 times. I was very, very lucky. And I really didn't want to be a judge because I was happy and content. I knew I could do it. And I tried many cases in front of many different judges, and that was a great experience. And I know I could do it, and I did it. And I'm glad I did. It was a natural step. It was just, and I kind of did it to see if I could do it. And I was very happy with doing it. I think I'm doing a good job at it. And believe it or not, it's not an easy job, and you need to do a lot of things to make sure that you do it and that you do it right. It's a very, you know, we've had folks that have either run and won or been appointed by the governor that have lasted like 3 months, 6 months. And basically I remember one particular judge, I believe he was appointed. After like 6 months, he said, oh, this isn't what I really thought it was, and just resigned, which is, you know, to me outrageous, but that's what he did. Now, when I got the honor of serving on the bench, I made sure, and then I was put in the dependency division, and I knew nothing about it. And I think I got off to a good start because my first day on the bench, I told all the lawyers, I said, this is my background, criminal law, criminal law, criminal law. This is dependency. I'm here to learn, just don't mislead me. And nobody did. You know, feel free to teach me, just don't mislead me. And that was about 14 years ago. And I'm moved from dependency. I did criminal for 3 or 4 years, and now I've done delinquency for a long time, and I'm very happy and I'm very content. And this will be my last job.
Well, we appreciate that you took that leap of faith to be on the bench, and your role on the bench, as well as your community involvement. So we thank you for that.
I thank all of you for what you're doing and honoring me. It really means a lot, especially from you, Ms. Palacio, from Nazarena and Braulio. So I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Judge. Perfect. Thank you, Judge. Aside from a good education and a strong work ethic, what are essential qualities that you believe are important for judges to have, in addition to obviously everything you've discussed with us here today?
Well, integrity is important because I've seen it happen. You can't treat a case politically. You need to treat it on the merits, on the facts and the law. And so you got to have that integrity. And a lot of judges, that you see it, you can tell when they make political decisions. And that's the day that I do that, that's the day I've had enough. It's time to retire. Obviously, you need to be intelligent and you well educated and so forth. But in hard work, the integrity, again, is also very important. You also need to be professional. When you go on the bench, you have to be careful what you say, what you do. As I indicated, like sometimes I'll say, you know, buenos dias, senor, when I know that the litigant or the the witness or whoever may be is a Spanish-speaking person. But you can't say more than that, but at least you've broken the ice and let that person know that you're a Hispanic judge. I don't know if Rebollo or Rebollo, and by the way, I pronounce it Rebollo because that's how my parents pronounced it, and for no other reason. Having said that, you'd be surprised at how many people come up to me and say Rebollo, especially, and this is actually a good thing, people that are not Hispanic. You know, so like for example, my campaign manager back in 2010, her name is Ashley Walker. She did a wonderful job. She would constantly be calling me Rebollo, and I would say, actually, it's actually pronounced Rebollo, but she just, it was already in her mind. She was trying to be, which is a good thing. She was trying to say, look, you're Hispanic. I acknowledge that, I appreciate that. But anyway, getting back to, I like to digress too much and I really need to stop that. It's good to have, you need to keep up with the law, whatever division you're in, if you're in dependency, or let's say you're in civil, this civil is a wide area of issues that can come up. And you need to be on top of it. You need to be on top of the statutes that are being passed every year by the legislature in Tallahassee, by the Congress. You need to keep up with the case law from the Supreme Court of the United States, the Supreme Court of Florida, to the appellate courts. You need to be on top of that. And it's a good job. It's a decent job. It's an honorable job. It's not an easy job, and it's not for everybody. But there are plenty of highly qualified Hispanic lawyers out there, including yourself and Ms. Palacio, who I am constantly encouraging to think about it. And maybe it might be what you might want to do sometime. And if it is, I'd be more than happy to sit down with you and have a long discussion about the pros and cons and so forth. The best way, though, that I can describe is to simplify what being a judge is you're an umpire. And all that is you're there to, in a baseball game to call balls and strikes, in a basketball game to call fouls, in a football game to call a touchdown or not a touchdown. You're just an umpire. And the hardest part is you're going to have a difficult decision to make, a ruling. And obviously you're not going to make somebody happy. So you're going to have somebody's going to leave and they're not going to be happy. So what do you do? Well, what you do is you explain to them the best that you can why you are ruling against them. In other words, these are the facts of the case that I see. And this is the law. And applying the law to the facts, the conclusion that I reached is this. If you explain it to them, at least they have an understanding of why you ruled the way you did, instead of taking it personally. And that's like one of the tough, there's a lot of things that we need to do as judges to make sure that everything that we do is seen on the up and up, and that it's professional and the integrity is there and everyone is getting a fair shake.
Thank you, Judge. And we, I know I speak for everyone when I say that we all think you are a great judge. And thank you so much, not only for being a great judge, but for everything you do in our community. I try hard, and I really enjoy it. I really do. And I tell my staff, I said, the day that I don't enjoy this, I won't be here. And I could, if I wanted to retire right now, I could. I have 33 years with the Florida retirement system, and I'm 62, which in today's world is young, very young. In today's world, it's very young. My mom is 86. My dad lived to 90. He passed about a year ago. And the Broward County Bar was very wonderful when that happened. And I know it had to do with Ms. Palacio somehow, and definitely Braulio. But I listen, I am very, very appreciative of everything that all you guys do. Just me showing up and backing the Broward County Bar Association in as much as I can. Believe me, if I am not at an event, it's because I'm out of town. But especially with the Hispanic Lawyers Committee and with the Broward County, the Hispanic Bar Association, I try to do as much as I can with the limitations that there's only so much judges are allowed to do. But all of you are wonderful.
Ms. Palacio, I've known you a long time. Nazarena, likewise. And we got a good group of folks. And I look forward to a lot of good things happening for our Hispanic community here in Broward and throughout the state.
Thank you, Judge. We
And I believe me, you have no idea. I might not be, jumping up and down and everything. Sometimes I'm good at showing emotions, but you have no idea how much this really means to me.
Judge, we are honored to honor you for the county. You deserve it. Thank you so much for your time here today. We know that you're very busy and you have your docket, so we do appreciate the time you took to chat with us and answer a few questions. I would like to thank the viewers, everyone here who is watching and helping us honor not only Judge Rebollo here in Broward County, but also congratulations to all the judges throughout the state. It is wonderful to have you all on the bench, and we are all honored throughout the state. Thank you so much, Judge, for your time.
Thank you, Nazarena. Thank you, Kristen, and Braulio in the background.
Wonderful. Have a good day.
You too.